Hi guys, how are we all doing? Thanks for stopping by and checking out this video. My race recap from the Yandina Five'O 50-kilometre trail race. Now, before I dive into my race recap, I want to give a big shout out to the organisers from Run Queensland. These guys always put on an awesome event and this was no exception. And have a look at this bling. No medals here, guys. I'm not sure what you call it, but it's bloody awesome. And this is the 50k finisher bling, and Trish got a smaller one for finishing the 21 kilometers. And finisher's hat as well, gold for finishing the 50k under 6 hours. And there was another hat for finishes over 6 hours, which Trish described as a mouldy green colour. And even this shirt's pretty cool. Have a look at that. I reckon that's a little bit retro. The race precinct at the Torella Brewery, fantastic venue, lots of open green space, and it was just an absolute perfect setting for start and finish area. And who doesn't like to have an ale at the end of a tough 50-kilometre trail race? And all the volunteers on the day too, the marshals at all the checkpoints and everyone pointing us in the right directions. It was just exceptional. This was a bloody tough course. There was 6 kilometres of climbing in the first 10 kilometres, which brought you out at a stunning lookout. There was rolling gravel roads, single tracks, creek crossings, and plenty of rocks underfoot, which had me a little bit tentative, especially on the downhill sections. And there was a pretty pinchy climb at about 40 kilometres, which did me in, but more on that a little bit later. Now, if you have been watching this UTA training series, then you'll know that I did not taper for the Yandina Five'O 50-kilometre race. My focus was on continuing my preparation for the UTA 100, which now is only 6 weeks away. It is coming around really quickly. Not having a taper for a 50-kilometre race is not ideal, and in most circumstances it's not something that I would recommend. But I thought for me it was important that I would continue my training preparation for UTA 100 by keeping the mileage reasonably high 7 weeks out from that 100-kilometre trail race in the Blue Mountains. I did drop the mileage in the 5 days leading up to the Yandina Five'O. I went into the 50-kilometre trail race with about 70 kilometres run in the previous 5 days. 7k in, and on one of the biggest climbs in the course. I am sweating profusely, which is not a good sign. Just got to keep drinking so much. And I tell you, not tapering really does have an effect. Not on those fresh legs. Now, after seeing that stunning view and passing through to checkpoint 1, I did feel a lot better after getting that climb out of the way. I had my first boiled potato, and then I was able to string together some really good pace over some kilometres, which were on rolling hills, through trails and on gravel roads, before hitting checkpoint 2. I kept up the hydration, water and tailwind as I was still sweating heaps. Not sure how much I actually consumed during the whole event. I think I filled up my 2 500 mils about 3 or 4 times, so that's probably somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 4 litres of fluid, the water and tailwind. I took my first Spring Energy gel just before hitting checkpoint 2. That checkpoint came up a little bit earlier than I expected. It's only at 20, just on 23k. I thought it was a bit further than that, but anyway. So I've stocked up on plenty of stuff now. Plenty of sangers, got another boiled potato, another gel. Had a Cliff Bar there, but haven't already had the other Cliff Bars, so don't think I really need it. Main thing I think is to really keep the fluids up, because I am losing a lot of sweat. Now, I was feeling great at this stage. The legs were strong, the body was good. I had my second Spring Energy gel after leaving checkpoint 2, and just after the halfway point I had my second boiled potato. At 30 kilometres I was still feeling good, and each 10 kilometre split up to that stage it got faster. I think I went through the first 10 kilometres after that big climb in 77 minutes. The second 10 kilometres was 68 minutes, and then that third 10 kilometres was 64 minutes. Now, just after 30 kilometres, I had my first peanut butter sandwich. I've been trying the peanut butter sangers and the boiled potatoes in training. Been working really well, and having no gut issues with those two things in combination with the Spring Energy gels. In that fourth 10 kilometre section, 30 to 40 kilometres, the terrain changed. It got hillier. There was more walk breaks. And despite the hillier sections, I still felt pretty good. But the big climb at 40k really did hit me hard. It took me a long time to reach the top. I'm not sure what the split was for that 12 to 1300 meters from top to bottom, but I put it here on screen. But I had several stops just to have a rest, take on some hydration. That section I found probably the toughest of the race. Oh, I just came up this climb. Started at about 40k, only about 12 or 1300 meters all up, but just went on steep. A lot of people went past me. I really struggled up that hill, and just taking a moment to gather myself, and then I'll start running again. Whew. I was feeling really pretty well beat up at that stage, and I just wanted to take a little bit of time before I started to run again. When I did start to run again, we turned onto another track, and it was a long downhill section here which went on for several kilometres, and it wasn't long before we popped out at the last water station 4 kilometres from the finish. And it was in this final 4 kilometre section that I really had to battle some mental demons. The legs were tired, I felt hot. We came out into some open spaces and the sun was pretty warm. After cresting that final hill, and I was able to see the finish line over the tree line, that was really a welcome relief. And I'm going to be honest, I was really glad to see the finish. That hill at 40 kilometres had really done some damage, and it was just a slog to the finish. To break 6 hours, I was really happy with that. And to finish on the top of the podium for my age division, the 50 to 59 years age group, I was pretty chuffed because that was my first time that I have ever podiumed in a trail race. The race really showed me that I've still got a little bit of work to do before UTA 100 on May 14. I've still got to work the hills, I've still got to work the stairs, because that hill at 40 kilometres just knocked the stuffing out of me a little bit, so I've just got to get a little bit stronger on that vertical climbs, and that's what I'm going to be really working on over the next month before I start my taper into UTA 100. I pulled up great. I'm filming this about 3 days after the actual race. The following day I went out and did a nice easy 15 kilometre recovery. The next day 12 kilometres at around about a 5 minute per kilometre average, and felt really good. Was back doing some more stairs, and 21 kilometres on the Tuesday, and today when I'm filming, which is now the Wednesday, have just finished a 24 kilometre nice easy run just around the roads here around home, and the body's feeling really good. Now last week, even though I did drop that mileage a little bit leading into the Yandina Five'O, still managed to get 133 kilometres for the week, and being 7 weeks out, that's still perfect mileage for me. And I think about the last 6 weeks or so, mileage hasn't been below 130 kilometres for the week. The body has really adapted to the higher mileage, and I feel now that other than a little bit of general tiredness from time to time, that I'm in a pretty good position to really launch into the next 4 weeks of this training, so that I'm in a really good spot to begin my taper in the last 2 to 3 weeks leading into UTA 100. The 50k race was exactly what I needed. 7 weeks out just reinforced to me if I needed to do a little bit more work, and I do, just on that vertical stuff. Need to continue the high mileage now for the next month, which I'm really confident that I can do. And then just got to keep the fingers crossed that everything holds together. I stay healthy, continue my maintenance, continue the stretching, the foam rolling and all that sort of stuff. I'm still having regular needling, especially around the hip area where I've had some issues in the past, and also having regular massages as well now as I enter this final phase of this training block. Yandina Five'O, that's my last event now before the big day at UTA 100 on May 14. It's head down and really dig in for some hard work over the next 4 weeks. I'm excited, I'm really looking forward to it. I now feel more confident about completing the 100 kilometers, but I still have a little bit of way to go with my training, and then yeah, come on. Alright, so that's my race recap of the Yandina Five'O. If you missed the previous video where I did a more general overview of the actual race, I'll put that video up here if you want to go and check that out. Alright guys, until next time, run free, run happy, and I'll see you then.